Are amicable divorce cases becoming the new norm? To me, I would think they are. I think most people come from a place of wanting to have an amicable divorce. I think I should know how to say that after 12 years. But I think most people would love to have an amicable divorce, but it takes two to tango. It takes two of you to be able to be amicable and want to be amicable. I'll get calls from of consultations where they're like, Tim, I want it to be amicable, but he or she is, not being honest, or he or she won't come to the table and talk about it. He or she won't respond when I try and bring up the topic. And it's very hard to have an amicable divorce when parties aren't participating. But one of the stats I just Googled it, 90% of divorce cases never go to trial. So even if you have a contested divorce case and you're not amicable, and maybe I'm not a good fit for you because you guys aren't in agreement, there's only a 10% chance you're ever going to court and see a judge. And why is that? Because the process is set up with the courts, and this is anywhere in California, that going to trial in front of a judge is a last resort with the courts. The courts will do everything in their power to get you guys to reach an agreement prior to you having an official trial with attorneys in front of a judge with evidence and all that good stuff. Everything but a jury. And they have things such as making you guys have three-way communication between your attorneys and yourself, or four-way sit down, going to the court's mediation services first, trying to solve certain pieces of your divorce as opposed to the entire thing. Maybe you go to handle child custody, you guys get that satisfied. Then you go and talk to another mediator at the court and you get child support covered. They're going to try and break it up into pieces as opposed to say, well, just because you don't agree on these two things, we're going to have a trial over your entire divorce. That's not what they do. They're going to try and get you an agreement to as many things as possible. And then if there's as a last resort, as I said, if there's no other result, you guys just can't reach an agreement, you'll end up going to trial. But guess what? Only 1 in 10 of you are going to do that. So if you can, take a step back, think about making your divorce amicable. At the end of the day, if you think about it, if you strip away the emotion and all that, and let's just say everything's on the up and up, there's no criminality, there's no one hiding assets, there's no one, misbehaving in that way, trying to do things like that. You should be able to get rid of the emotion and step back and reach an agreement in an amicable fashion. Because at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to end up or fare that much better going to trial. I was just talking to a client who they were amicable, and this happens once in a while. They're amicable. We did their draft of settlement agreement, and then the husband wouldn't sign it. And I asked her, I said, "Well, what's going on?" And she said, "You know what? He just decided he doesn't want to be divorced." And that can be a problem. He agrees to the terms. The terms are fair. They're dividing everything equally, joint legal and physical custody. They both make about the same money. So no alimony, no child support, pretty straightforward divorce. But he just said, you know what? I just decided I don't want to be divorced. So he's just not going to participate, which can be highly problematic. That will likely go before a court or before a judge. It won't be a trial per se, because it'll just be one party at some point. But that goes down a whole nother path of a default without an agreement, which can be very challenging when there's assets and debts and kids and a home and pensions and all that. Because where in this case, they were going to divide the house equally, but they were going to each keep their own 401ks and pensions. Unless those are equal, you can do that in a case where the parties agree. But through a default case where there's no agreement, the court's are going to make those be split 50-50, 99% of the time.